Welcome to the React.js and Tailwind CSS project. In this project, we are going to build portfolio using React.js and Tailwind CSS, and it's also be responsive for both tablets and mobile. So if you are a beginner with React.js and Tailwind CSS, then this is the ideal tutorial for you. To let's get started while building more complex layouts. So first of all, we have to create a folder on our desktop, which is portfolio using HTML, React.js and Tailwind CSS. So we have created a folder on our desktop. Now we have to drag and drop inside our VS Code to start development. So first of all, we have to open our terminal to write some commands to create our React app. So we have to write npm create expo create yt@latest dot, which will create our project inside this directory, and we are also following this Figma design to create our project. So we also have to open another tab for use in our future to run our application here. So here is some options. I select React and also I will select JavaScript. After that, we have to npm install to install all the dependencies which YTF has created for us. So clear it, and after that we have to open local Tailwind CSS to install Tailwind CSS inside our YT. So select YT and just copy it from here and paste it in our terminal, which will install Tailwind CSS inside our project. So while we have to set up our this folders, we have to delete app.css. We have to remove all the code inside app.jsx. So select all, and we just have to also remove all the css inside index.css. So just we are going to give some box shadow to our each elements which we are going to use in our project. So we will be seeing a line with all the HTML tags, so we will understand the layout and we can work more easily. So also install npx tailwind, which will install a tailwind config.js file. Also copy the data and paste it inside this file. So we have successfully set up our Tailwind CSS in our project. Now it's time to run our project. Before that, we have to call a man tag, and inside the man tag we have to call h1 tag, which will be outputting some text like hello world. And we can open our terminal and clear the terminal. After that, we have to npm run dev, which will start our project at localhost 5173. So we have to open that. It will refresh when our terminal start our project. Now it's started our project. So we need our background color black and text will be white. So for fixing that, we have to open our index.css. After that, we have to I think we have to give style to our body, because all the stuff is inside our body. So we have to, it's a best practice to give style to our body. So give text white, and now it will be working. Yeah, it's looking great now. So first of all, we need to create a navbar. So comment out this tag as navbar, so our code will be more readable and understandable for everyone who will follow along with my code. And now we are using nav. It is a HTML element which is for navbar section, and also give some class name like flex row, justify content between, and items will be center, and it will make our navbar looks like great. So we also need a text which is the title of our website, which which will be 2xl in height, font size, and font will be semi bold. and the text is Spaqoo tag. After that, we need a UL, unordered list, and this list have many styles like flex and flex row. And justified content will be between and items will be center. So everything will be centralized. And also we need a gap of 10, and inside that UL we need another text which has some font size of LG, and text will be gray 100 and the text will be 100, and just copy paste it 4 times and change the text for each about and work. And the last link will be our contact, and we can see that our navbar is looking good, but we also need some spaces between our screen and our uh, and our screen and our elements. So give the man tag some padding like p10, and also p x-axis will be 20, I think. Let's go to the code, and px will be 20. Now it's looking great. Let's move toward the next section, which is which will be our header section. So let's build up our header section, comment out the tags which make our code more readable. Also use header tag for this section because it is a HTML tag and it is more efficient way to use it. And also give some padding 32, and flex call and justify content will be center and items will be also center, and give some gap of 3. And let's give some content to our header like paragraph of 2xl, and also we will put some text inside this. So let's try, can we copy it? It is unable to copy the text, so we will write by ourselves like, hi, I'm Spaqoo. Yeah, I think it's looking great. Now it's time to move toward next thing, which is the below text, which is a bigger text than this one. So we will be using it h1 tag, and also we have to style it like text font size will be 5 pixel and font width will be bold, and put some text like building products and branding brands. Yeah, it's looking great. Now let's move toward the next thing, which is importing our image below this text. Before that, we have to give some color to our text, like text should be gray 200, and it's looking good. Now let's move toward the next thing, which is using this image. So export it from Figma design. Before that, we have to select this, but you don't have to do that. You will get all the asset inside our GitHub repository, which I will comment out. And we have to save this image. However, you will get inside asset folder, but for me, I am doing this stuff. So I have exported this image. Now I can use it below this text. So import image. Inside that image, we have to give the location of our asset, which will be something like dot slash asset spaqoo.png. I think it will not work, so I give slash. It is still not working, so we have to go to the public folder, I think. Before that, we have to give slash asset, and after that we have a name of our image like computer.png. If we refresh our website, then we are not able to see our image. Why it is happening? We have to open our asset folder to see what is the name of our asset. So close this all of this stuff to open our asset folder. Oh, I think I don't have pasted the public folder inside my directory, that's why it's not showing, but it's still not showing. Why it's happening? Now after the refresh, it's now display on our screen. So let's style our image also giving some class name, like width will be bracket 300px. If we refresh, anything is not working. Oh, now it's working. I think we have to give 80. It's not looking good enough. If we give some width like 80 or 92, it's still not working. Why it is happening? Let's give 96. 96 is too much smaller, so we have to give 500px. I think it's looking great now. And let's move toward the next thing, which is the images around it, this header section. So let's export this image also, but you will get all these images inside the asset folder, but it is the step for me, so I'm doing that stuff. First image name is header dash image1, and the second image will be header image2 img2, and the third will be, we have to export it also, header image 3, and the last one is header img4. So let's save it, and let's display it on our screen also. So copy it and paste it again and again for at least 4 times, and just select all of these 4 to give same styling to it and some width to it, and also change each image. For select 4 of each and give it a name like image, header image1, header img2, header img3, header img4, but it's just below the main image. So now we have to make each image absolute, and our header will be relative to it, and also we have to give some left position and right top position to it, and before that we have to give relative to our header. So we are making these images relative to the header section, so it looks like this. Now we have to change the position of each image respectively by giving some left and right position to each image, and now it will be bottom, and the last image will be right there. Now it's looking great, and we have successfully imported each image, and the position of each image is looking great. Now it's time to move toward the next thing, which is creating our about section. So for that, we have to start building that section also. So comment out about, and just copy paste it again, and all the code of about section will be inside this comment, these comments. So we will be using a section element for this. Write section, then we have to give some class name to it like flex. I think we don't need any class, we just have to give a empty class to it, and after that we need a text for this section, which will be displaying about me, and also this section has a padding on y-axis about 10, and after that we will also need some padding bottom to the text. I think Also, we will be creating this grid section, which is a little bit tricky, but if you understand this grid section, then you will be creating great grids for your upcoming projects, and uh, it is also useful for you in future. So learn it now. So our outermost container is flex, and inside that container we will be using two more divs. One's length is 4 upon 6, and the second one length will be 2 upon 6. So combining these two sections will be full width, but one is greater and some second is smaller. So each section has two more divs. So paste it here. One, and copy paste it again, and two. Each section has two divs, and inside the first section of first div will be having two more divs, and it will be have style like grid, and grid calls will be two, and it is a simplified code of our grid, and you will understand when we look out the output of this code. Also, we have give some gap to our flags. Now it's looking great. We can see our section has built up greatly, but when we will be importing some components inside these sections, then it will looks great. Flags will be called, and gap will be 5. And also we have to give the grid section of gap 5. Now it's looking great. Now I think we have to give the flags to our last container, and the flags will be called and gap will be 5. It is looking great now. Now let's move to creating our component. So create a folder which name is components, and a component, and inside that component we have to create a component which name is about cart.jsx. So write a code RFCE which will create a custom code for our component. After that, we have to import our component inside our grid. So we have to select all of the divs which will be not using, and we have to replace it with our component names. So let's try out how we can select these 5 components, 5 divs. I think it is impossible because when it is looking awkward, so we don't do that. We just have to remove each by one. So let's import the about card from the our component section. After that, we have to copy this component and just paste it where we need it. We have needed at one here and also here one, and here we will be pasting two components of about card, and it is much more easier and to much more simplified version of our layout. So you can see that here is all the components are displaying. Now let's move toward the next thing, which is building up our component section. So for that, we have to call a div which has some padding like 2, and the border radius will be rounded LG, and also we need a background gray of 900. And let's refresh our website and let's see. Before that, we have to import an image, and Also, we need a text below the image, which is all the text LG and font will be bold, and the font will be displaying something like "Hi, I am Spaqoo. Hi everyone." And below this text, we have a paragraph which will be displaying some lorem text. And for this text, we have to style it to text size will be SM semi bold, smaller, and text color will be gray 500. And if we refresh it, before that we have to give some padding on x-axis to each text to make it more interactive and good looking as we have a Figma design. After that we can see here as all the components are importing and our layout is much more looking good. And we also need a padding bottom of 5. We have mistakenly give it to our section. We have to remove it from here and give it to our text about me. So we also need this image, so I have to export it from here. However, when you are going to build this portfolio, you will get all the asset from asset folder, so you don't have to export anything. But if you want to do that, then feel free to do that. However, now I know the location of the image, so the location of the image is slash asset slash about image one dot png. So you can see that everywhere is we are now can see our image. However, we have to fix the image size, so our layout will be showing as like as we want. So let's export the second image. So let's select it first and we have to import the image also. So let's export it. The image name will be about img2, and the third one is this, and it will have an image name of about img3. And for this globe we have the name of img4, about img4. So, and the last one will have about img5, I think. It is not selecting. I don't know why it is not happening that, but let's do it. If we export it, there is no any option of exporting this. If we click on this image and try out to select this image, and now we are able to see the export button. However, we have to select the image. Now we are able to see the export button, so we have to export the card. However, it is showing card, but we don't need a card. Now it's time to rename the image like about img5. If we make our this component reusable, means while we need a different image for each card, so we have to call the props inside our component, which is props, which is source, and we have to remove the location of this image and give a name of prop here. So we can call the prop on our this screen and we will be able to change image for each component. So give it here the source, and after that we have to give the inverted commas and also the location of each image. And here is the magic: if we change each image name, then we will be able to see the difference between each image. Now we are, here is it. We have imported a card, however we need an image, but it here is a mistake. We only need the image of card, but it is importing the text also, so it is a fault. We don't need it, so we have to fix it by just importing the image. Now we are able to see the image only, and everything is working great, and we have successfully built it. greatly, and the margin R2 will centralize over each image, and the width will be increase the image width to full space what the component have. So I think it's looking great, but what I am trying to do that I think we have to increase the text, but it's looking awkward, so we have to remove it. If we remove some more text, then our layout will be much more looks cooler. Now I think it's looking great, but if we increase the amount of text, then it will be go out of our shape. So we don't have to increase the text as much as we can, and I think I have to move on towards the next component. So close this one and let's move toward the next section, which will be our work section. And comment out the work text, and between these two comments we will be writing our works section code. So for that we are using a section which have a padding of y-axis of 10, and after that we have a text which will be having font size of 2 pixels and the font will be bold, and this div will be displaying a text of my selected work. And after that we will need another component which is two cards. So for that we before that we have to give some margin to our this text, so our next two cards will be having some spaces between our text. So let's build up this one and give it flex, and flex will be and flex and give it some uh, flex raw, and justify gap will be 5 I think, and the justify will be between and item will be center. So our layout will be looks great, and however we can easily differentiate between our two cards. So we have two cards here, each have a padding of 5 and each will be rounded LG, means their corner will be rounded XL, and the height will be, we also have to declare the height of each card. So I am declaring the card height to 400 px, and we have two cards, and this second card will don't have anything, it's only will be displaying an image, and we have to work on our first card. So so let's fix its width also. So it will be 3/6 for each. Now it's looking great. uh, Now let's move towards working on our cards. However, we have created its layout. Now it's time to put some contents inside these cards. So for that, we have to see the image name, so we can call the image of our computer and we can display in our second card. So before that we need to know about the spotlight. This spotlight will be the background color of our first card, and for that we will be importing in our class names by using bg bracket, square bracket, url, small bracket, inverted comma, slash assets, and spotlight will be 1 and dot png. It will show our spotlight image on our container. However, we can't see it now, but uh, if we style it to pg bg cover, and before that we have to rename it. We have to get the real name of this spotlight. If we remove the location of this spotlight and give it some location like this, the exact location, and we have to remove all the stuff before assets, and give it a slash, and after the asset we also have to have a slash. Now it's displaying the spotlight. We have to fix the location of the spotlight. For that I'm using bg cover. I think bg cover is looking good now. After that we have to give some bg center, which will centralize the spotlight, and the bg will be not repeat, means while the image will be not repeated if there is any space left it in our container and our image. So it's looking great now, and we need what we need. I want to just get the exact layout of our Figma design in our development. For that, now it's time to export this image also. So let's export it. For exporting this image, we have to select it and export this image, and we will be renaming this image to something like work computer, and it will be saved as workcomputer.png. So let's import it here, and also we have to get all the style of all the class name to also display the background color of background image. For this component also it is showing the spotlight, but we have to rename it to work computer, so it will be displaying now the computer. But I think this card has a smaller height, so let's fix it out and select each height of our computers. I think the card now it's looking great now. However, yeah, I can say that it's looking good. However, you can fix it out more if you want to, but I think for me it's great. Now let's work on our first card, which will be displaying some content. So let's work on that, which will have some class name like bgret100. So we can display our image inside this container. So give it a class name of bgret100. Around it will be lg, means border radius will be around lg, and after that we need a shadow. However, we can't see the shadow, but in future if we can see it when we customize our index.css. After that we have to import an image inside this container. However, we are not able to see anything, and we are just there is a white. Why the white background is coming from? Oh, I guess bgret100 putting a white background to our container. So let's see the image name for this logo. I want to have this image name, so let's export it and let's see its name. So where we can see the name of our image, we have to open the asset folder which is inside our project. So let's open public folder and also the asset folder. And asset folder, we can now see the project logo is the image of the image we want to import on our screen. So we just have to remove this spotlight name, and we have to just write project logo 1. However, I have not put it logo, we have to put another O, which is making this error. Before that, we have to remove the background color, which makes awkward. So now we can see our logo. After that, we have to customize it height and width also. So for that, we have to give a class name to it. Like height will be 10 and width will be also 10. However, we don't need to change the width of this logo, but we need to change the height of this logo. After that, we will need to give a border to our container of our logo. However, also we need to decrease the padding of this container, and our border will be gray 500. I think 900 will be looks good. 700. It's looking great now. Now it's time to flex the container which contain this div and this image. So the items will be start. This def will be between and items will be start. So we will get the exact thing which we are looking for. So now we can see our logo is much more looks like our Figma design. After that, what we need a text which will be displaying postcasters. So I will import a h1 tag and have to give some class name like text to excel, which increase its font size, and font will be bold, and the text will be postcaster AI postcaster platform. And after that, we need a paragraph which will be displaying some lorem text. So the text will be displaying inside a paragraph, and it will have a class name of text gray 500, and the font size of our text will be small, and we will import some lorem inside this container. Just we need another paragraph, so we have to copy paste the above paragraph which we have created. So just select it and copy and paste it. Now we are able to see two paragraphs. However, below this paragraph we need another container which will contain some logos and a text which will be displaying check live site. So for that we have to call another container which will have a class name of flex row, and just a file will be between, and items will be center. So we have to put a dash between the flex row. Now it's working. After that, we need another container which will contain the logos, and for that I'm using numbering to it, and also we have to flex full, and after that it will be looking good enough, and it's time to put some logo inside our this container also. So we will need this container which we have styled earlier, so just paste it again and again inside this container. So first and we have to just make it more readable, and we have to change the size of the logo also. However, it is looking very big now, still big. Also decrease the padding of the container for this logo, and I think padding 2 is looking good, and we have to figure out all the logos names so we can import it one by one. So the first logo is I think I think first logo is absent, it is not here. So what we can do, we first logo is React logo, and I think it is not here. So before that we have to just copy this container again and again for each logo, almost 4 times, and we have to change the name of each logo, like React.js. After the React.js we will need another image which is the Tailwind.css. After that we have to import the TypeScript.png. Then after that we have to import the framer.png. However, this container should be flex, and flex will be raw, and it will automatically put raw, and gap will be 2. Now it's looking good, but our React image is not importing. We have to figure out and we have to import it correctly. So let's do it. So also customize the height of each container, each icon. Now it's looking good, and we have to import the React icon. So let's click on the React icon image, and we have to import it, export it, so we can import in our development. So if we React, here is that already inside our asset folder there is an React SVG, so we don't have to export the React icon. We just have to write react.svg, then it will be displayed on our screen, and now it's working. Now it's looking great, and let's move towards the next thing, which is our tags, which will be displaying inside the container too. So we need a paragraph tag, and the paragraph tag will have some style like text excel, and the text excel will be showing text like check live site. So it is showing check live site. However, we need another icon with this tags. So let's import another image, just copy it from there, paste it here, and just change the name for it. Before that we have to know the name of this image, which is arrow up. It is displaying, but it has to be flex, and justify will be end, and items will be center, and gap will be 2, I think. Now it's looking great. It's time to move toward the next thing, which is building the below section of this container. Now is the time to add our arrows section, and for that we have to see the name of each image of our arrows, and after that we have to now let's import an image so we can import our arrows icons. So image, inside that we have to, I have mistakenly imported in wrong area, I think. It is a good we just have to remove the name of location of the image we have imported. So now let's customize the height and width of our arrow, and also give some background color to it. So if we go to our website, then we can see that we have mistakenly imported the arrow in the wrong section, so we have to remove it from here. And what we need, we just need it below the this section, below the section of this column, and we need another column below this column. So for that we have to enter here and just start building our next column, which will contain two arrows, left and right arrows. For this container we have to write a class name of flex, and justify will be between, and items will be center. So in this section we will be importing our two arrows, and which will have some background color. I think the background color is not applicable here, so we have to remove it from here. But I think it's still not working. So how can we make it functional? By just able to see the arrow. So for that we can't see the arrow still now. So let's fix it out. However, the location of the arrow is good, but it is still not working. So if we go to index.css, there is nothing we have changed. And let's figure out why it is not displaying on our screen. However, we have given the right location of our left arrow image. So if we go to our this image, we copy the image and we just replace this image with the image which is working, then if we go to the website, then we can see that our image is now working. But if we change the name of this image to left arrow.png, then it's not, oh, it's now working. So we have to give some height to it, and I think h4 is good, and also we need some background color of bggraph 800, and the padding will be 3. I think the background color is making some errors, so for that I will try to wrap up this image inside a container which will have a background color, and I think it will not conflict with the image. So let's create another container like having some padding of 3 and rounded borders, and also it will be flex, and justify content will be center, and items will be also center. Now it's time to paste the image inside it, and let's see how is it working. It is now working, I think. So now we have to give the background color to this container also. So let's see, it is working now, I think. And yeah, it's perfect. So just copy paste it again and just change the name of this. Before that we have to give it a width of full, so our icons will be justifiable between. After that we have to call another thing, another container, which will contain all of the dots, the gray dots and the white dots. So for that I have created a container which have a flex, and justify content will be center, items will be center. Inside that container we need a padding of one container, and which will have a rounded border fully, and the basic gray will be 800. So let's refresh it and let's see how is it working. Now I think it's looking great. So just copy paste it again and again, and in from these we just need one container which will be having background color of 300, and also we need a gap of 3 between each element. So if we do gap of 2, then it's looking cool now. So we have successfully created this section, also work section, and also we have to change the name of our second arrow, which is the right arrow. And I think we have done with our this section. So let's close this section and let's move toward the next section to build. So for this section also we also have to comment out the text client. So our all the code for this section will be between these two comments. So let's create a comment in our coding. And yes, this is the section which we have to create. And for that, let's open our VS Code and write a comment of client, and just copy paste it again, and between these two comments we will be writing all of the code which is required to build this section. So this section will have a padding on y-axis of 5, and inside this container we will need first of all a text of h1, which will have a font size of 2xl, and the font will be also bold. And after that the font will be showing this h1 will be displaying something text like a hair from my clients. And if we refresh our website, and we can see the tags which we have created. So now it's time to create the feedback section. For this I will be using a grid, and grid will allow us to have many section by 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 as you want. So I am using a grid, and this grid will have columns of 2. For that we will also have to create a component which name is feedback.jsx. This component will contain a reusable feedback component, and we can call it here, and just copy paste it again and again and 4 times, because we have 4 feedbacks on our screen. And now it's easy to create its layout. However, we have just created its layout. Now it's time to create our component, and for that we need a container which will have a padding of 10. And inside the container what we will need, we need we will need some rounded corners. For that we will be using rounded axle class name, and also we will need a background color of 900, which will be dark gray. And after that we will need a paragraph inside the container of a feedback component. So the text will be gray, I think. Let's create a paragraph by calling p.text lg, and Lauren inside we will call Lauren for dummy text. And we can see our text is too much large, so we have to reduce the size of font size of our text. So let's remove it again to text md, and after that we have to call another container which will contain some images and some text of our feedback giver person's name. So for that we have to have an image here. So first we have to have another container inside it which will have an image and text, and the second will be displaying some sort of image also, which will be our stars. So we can see that the stars are showing, but it's hidden with our very big. So let's customize it by giving some class name of h4, I think. Now it's looking good enough, and just copy paste it again or 4 times at least, and flex and justify content. Let's give it gap of 2, and I think we need one more star, so just copy paste it, and now we have perfectly got it. And it's time to import our profile image for each so let's give a background text color of gray 300 to our paragraph. Let's see how is it look the 400, and now I think it's looking good, and we can move on towards the next section, where we have to create and import an image. Inside the image we have to give the location of the image. So what will be the image? The image will be review review one, and we will also will change images for each component. For now we are just making the layout, so we have to customize the height and width of our review image. So I have give it a class name of h12, which has decreased its height. And now it's time to have another container, another div. Inside this div we will be creating another text, which will be the h1, and its font size will be XL, and it will output the review giver name. In my case it is a Spaqoo tag, but feel free to use another name if you want. Then below this text uh, we have to just customize it font size like LG, and font width will be bold. So use class name font bold, which will bold our text. So after that we need another paragraph. So this paragraph will be showing the position of the person, review giver. So in my case I have to give some class name like text MD and text grade 400, and yeah, I can say that he is a software engineer. So after that we have to give it a flex, and flex will be just put all this stuff in one line. And after that we have to give item center, which will centralize our text and image. After that we have to give a gap of 2, which will put some gap between our text and our image. Now it's time to make this component, feedback component, reusable. So for that I have to remove this location of the image, so we can give a props here, and the prop will allow us to change the content on other screen. By just calling the component we can change by giving the props, and we can able to access the attribute from here. So give the source here and give inverted commas, and inside the inverted commas we have to give the location of the image. Now let's change the image for each review. So we are able to change the image of each review. You can see that. You can also do this stuff for all other stuff, all other contents like headings and paragraph, but in my case I just have done a simple step, so you can follow along with me easily. Now it's time to create another section, which is our experience section. In this section we will need another container, which will having a class name of py, means padding on y-axis will be 10. And after that we will also need our text, which will be the h1, and text font size will be 2XL, and font width will be bold. And after that we have to put the text inside these element, which is my work experience. So we can scroll, we can see. Before that we have to put some margin bottom to make it very interactive when we put some data below these tags. So it's time to create our flex, and it will be justified between, and items will be center. So let's have two containers inside this container, and each container will have a width of 2/6, not each, but one will have width of 2/6 and other will have uh, 4/6. However, the height will be same for each container. So the height will be same for each container. I think we can give another padding for each container also, and just text for each container. Now it's looking good now, and we have to put some gap between this container, I think. Before that we have to round the corner of each container so it's look good. and after that we have to put a gap between these containers. So gap is also showing between these containers. Now it's time to give some background image to our first container, which is auto suggested by Codium extension, which I have already installed. And after that, what we are looking for, we just need this image. So I have to export this image to be able to put this inside our coding. So for that we have to export it from here, and let's give it name like experience. So now we can have able to see the image here. Now we are able to see the image here. So we have to remove the text from here, also from here. And let's now create our second container, which have some icons and some text. So it is also will be flex, and we will have two containers, one which will be 1 upon 2 upon, I think one which will be 1.5, and padding will be 5, I think. And what I am missing out, it also will be flex, and the flex will be column, and justify will be, before that we have to copy paste the each container. And I can't see anything but now, but we will build up. Before that we have to customize this width of these containers. So let's give it 5.6, and the above one will be 1/6. So I think it's looking good now. And let's put some icon between into this container. So for that, let's give the location of the icon, which will be framer framer.svg. And if we refresh, then we are able to see the logo here. So also we have to customize the height of our logo. So give it a class name of h5, and h5 is too small, so increase its size to h10. And also the background will be gray, 500, 900. I think it's look good, but it is its width is too much, and we have to customize the width also, I think. So give it a width of 10, and we also need some padding, I think. So before that we have to give a fixed width to it, and I think we can give it a rounded corners. So for that we will use a class name of rounded lg. I think it's looking good, and we can just make it justify center, and it is not looking good. So give it a justify of start. I think the class name will be more interesting and good for this container. So it's looking good now, and we can now copy paste this again and again, because we need 3 images, and each images will be justified between, and it will be separated. And also we need a I think a line. Also we have to change the name for each icon, and after that we need a line between these icons. So for that we will use we have to select each image, and below this image we need a div which have a uh, class name of width1, and the width1 upon, I think, and the background will be gray 900, and the height will be 32. Let's click it and let's see what's happened. Before that we have to make it more understandable. It is too much long, we have to decrease the height of each. So for that I am giving 20 for each, and also I am customizing the width of each line. For that we will use 1px. Now I think it's looking good, and we don't think below the notion there is any row, any line. So let's remove this line. So if I remove this line, then it is not going on. And however, if I remove the background color for this, it is still showing a blueprint of the background. So let's try to remove it, but I think it's not working. So I think it doesn't matter if we remove or not remove this line. However, let's try out how to figure out how to remove this line. I think if we remove this, the layout will be more ugly. So we have to include it, but we have to transparent it. So I think it is not removable. So forget it and let's move towards the next thing, which is including the text in this layout. So for that, uh, let's go to the another container which have the width of 5/6, and uh, in this container we will have a heading of Excel, font size of Excel, and the font width will be bold, and it will be showing the framer text. And below this h1 we will need another text which will be showing the position of the person. So the paragraph will have some style like text gray 500, and the font size will be Excel, and the position of the person will be the lead developer, and he's joined in 2022, and he is still in present. And below this text we will need another paragraph which will be showing some text, and for this paragraph we have to give a style of text gray 500, and the font size will be SM small. And we have to just copy paste it again and again for 3 times. So let's click enter, control V, and we have 3 now. So let's give a margin for each heading, so it will look separated from each. So for that we will select this paragraph, and we will give a margin bottom 5 for each paragraph. So now it's looking great, I think. And now change the text for each thing. If you want to change, then you can change also the title and the paragraph also, but in my case I just changing the name of each paragraph titles. So it's looking great now, and I think it is perfect. And let's move towards the next thing. I think we have completed and we have created this experience section, and it just looks like the Figma design. So before going to the next section, we have to give a background color of PG gray 500. I think I have to give it to whole container. So I think it looks good and we don't have to style it again and again. Let's move toward the next section, which is our let's talk section. So for that we will also comment out a text. Between these comments we will be writing the whole code which is required to create this section. So let's start by giving a class name of p(y)axis 10 20, I think, and p20, and round it will be Excel, and give it a bg, and bg will be its background image. So I have a suggestion by Codium's extension, and I think it is we have to check out the name of our image. So what is the image name? So it's the terminal name. It's this image name is terminal, so we have to replace terminal text with the let's talk text. So write terminal. So if we refresh, then we are able to see our image here. So also we have to fix the size of height of our image. So in my case I have give it 600 px. I think 700 will be looks good. It is still too much bigger image, so let's give it a class name of content, but it's going towards another site. So for that we have to fix it out, my putting the image in center, and also we have to customize it. I think it looks good now, and the height will be decrease, should be decreased, and now it's looking great. And we can now work on our content between these containers. So we need a heading of h1, and the heading size will be 3xl, and the heading will be the let's talk, and the font will be bold. So let's see how is it looking. Before that we needed another paragraph which will have a color of gray 500, and it will be displaying some lorem text, and below this we need a label for our input. So we have to wrap up the label and the input inside a container, and let's create our tags. For our text we will need a text color of gray 500, and the text will be full name, and also we need an input which will be having some text color of 500 gray 500, and also we need a padding of 3 5 I think from all the side, and the corners will be rounded lgxl I think, and the background bg gray, and it will be 900. And also we have to have the back width will be full, and after that we have to give a placeholder, so it should show the text of placeholder also. In my case I have put it Spaqoo, but you feel free to use another text if you want. We can see that the image is too smaller than our container, so what we have to do, we have to fix it out. For this we have to give some padding to our container I think, and I think we have to wrap up this inside another div which will have a width of 5/6. So just pass it here. If we refresh, if we before that we have to give the flags and justify content will be center, and items will be also centralized. So center. Now it's looking great, and we can now, I think start will be looks good, and it's looking great now. And also we need a padding on y-axis of 10. I think 20 will 32. It's looking great now, and we have to change the width of our container, so we can see that it is looking good now. 4/6 is best for us, but I think the input size is too much bigger. So we have to give the font size will be the LG of our input. So we also need a padding on y-axis of 3. So let's copy it, paste it again. So let's give the height to our last input. I think it's looking awkward. You can customize it by your own, but I'm not focusing on creating this text area. So the padding is, I think, don't have to increase the padding, which make it awkward. So let's change this text, like giving some email address, email, and after this we can write it here, your comment, and below this we have to have button which will be having some padding, and the font will be semi bold, and the bg rounded, and the corner will be rounded, and after that we will need a background of purple 500, and inside this button we need a send message. So the width will be also 1 and 4, so we have to put width full. So the background color is too much irritative, we have to increase the level. I think it's gray, so we have to put hair gray. If we refresh, then it just looks like the Figma designs color. So we can move on towards the next thing, which is building our footer. So let's build our footer section. So let's go to the development, and let's comment out our the comment section footer, and now put the footer tag. And after putting the footer tag, we have to give it some class name like flex, and justify will be between, and items will be center. And after that, just press enter, and we have to have C3 section for this container, in which we have a paragraph which will have some class name like text gray 500, and also put some text term and condition and privacy policy in this paragraph. So write privacy policy, so after that copy paste this again, and just change the text for this another paragraph, which is 2024 Spaqoo tag, and all rights reserved by Spaqoo tag, and just write this text. Now it's time to create the another section, which is the icon section, and for that we need a container which will have class name of flex, and justify will be center, and item will be center. So our all the icons will be centralized in a container. So we need a gap of 3 also. So now it's time to have a image tag for importing our icons, and just change the text. In my case it is facebook.svg, and if we refresh there is nothing changing on our website, so it means that images are not importing properly. So before that we have to give a margin on y-axis to our footer, so it just looks like our Figma design. Now let's see the image, the icon name from our asset folder. If we scroll to our asset folder and we try to have the icon name from here, so we are unable to see another icon name, but I am not finding the Facebook icon which we are importing on our screen. So I think I have the image, but it's not here. So let's fix it out by giving some another image name, which is GitHub, which is which I already have, but it is still not showing because why it is not showing. However, if I put github.png and we have the github.svg, but it's not working. Why? But why I don't know. So let's try to fix it out, and let's try why it is not working, why our icons are not showing on our screen. So let's change the name of icon like Instagram, which is, I think it will be in our asset folder. So let's change the icon name to twitter.svg, and it's still not showing the image. However, these icons are in the asset folder, but it is not working. And let's see why it is not working, and give a class name to it to fix it out, the height and width, so it will show on screen. Now it's showing on the screen. So give it a padding, and when we give padding it decreases in size. So let's fix it out by giving a higher height for this icon, and also the border will be rounded and the bg will be gray 900. So it's looking good now. Just copy paste it again and again. So we need 3 icons, and change the image name for each icons, and second is GitHub, and third is Instagram. So now we are able to see the icons below in the footer section, and we have completed our footer section. Now it's time to go towards changing our background color for each container which having the bg900. So select all of the class name which are bg gray 900, and just change it by giving some brackets, and inside that bracket we have to put hash, and after that we have to paste the code of the color. So we have the exact background color for each component, but our feedback section is not changing, so we have to fix it out. So we have to go to our components folder. Inside the component folder we have to open feedback and just change the background color of our feedback to our Figma design color. So if we scroll down, then we are able to see the exact color which we have in our Figma design. However, we also have to change the background color for our about cards. So just put it out and let's see. And now we have the exact background color for each component, and it is also looking great. So it's time to move toward the responsiveness of this website. So let's select all the padding 10 stuff. So Mac, we have to fix it out everything on multiple devices. For multiple devices, our this code is just responsible for the desktop version of our application. So we have to fix it out to our mobile screen, and also we have to fix it out for our tablet view. So for that I'm fixing the padding for medium size. Our screen is medium size, so I'm putting the all the classes to medium size, and before the md and double dots I am putting the actual padding which I will need when we are going towards the mobile screen size. So let's select all the class name which have the text to excel class name, and we have to put that on our large screen, and after that we have to give the text md. So let's fix it out everything. So let's start deploying our website. For that, we have to open our GitHub, and we have to push our code to our GitHub repository so we can deploy it on our Vercel. Vercel is a platform which allow us to deploy YT apps, so we will be able to live our website on using Vercel. So for that, I have already have a repository, and I just have to paste the code inside the repository. But it is not deploying because we have a node module, so we have to delete it before pushing our whole folder to our GitHub repository. Also, we have to open the versal.com, and where we will be able to add the new projects. And after adding the new projects, we have to add our code to our GitHub. And while the code is uploading on GitHub, we have to see the more details of our website, our Vercel, so how we can able to add our website to our Vercel. I am not finding any repository where I can import the website we have uploading on our GitHub. So I think when we push all the code on our GitHub, we will able to import that on our Vercel. So let's have a break here. After taking a break, we will come soon and just start deploying our GitHub. So it's just working. So any section, if you have any question, every query, you can comment me on this section, comment me down below, and I will be giving answer. And if you are beginner, then you have to just master. Don't focus on the stuff I am just keeping, but focus on the method which will be using while creating new website for yourself. So I am creating the portfolio website using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js and Next.js and AngularJS and much more stuff. So follow along this tutorial, and the next tutorial will be coming with another technology, but the website will be the same. If we refresh our Vercel, if we able to refresh the Vercel, then we are able to see the website we have uploaded just now. So we are able, there is a text which showing that just now, and if we change the directory for this, then we are able to see the website which we have uploaded, which is React.js and Tailwind CSS portfolio using React.js and Tailwind CSS. So now it's deploying on Vercel, and yeah, that is basically it. And it is too much easy to deploy any website which is built using React.js and Next.js and YT app. You can deploy on Vercel. However, you can also deploy Expo React Native app on Vercel. So now our website is deployed. The link will be in the description. And yeah, this is the final demo of our application. However, some stuff will be not working on Vercel because the images I have I think deleted before have some corruption. So it is not matter, but we have done the real stuff, which is the development of our layout and how to deploy a website on Vercel, and also we know how to make website responsive. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and for more videos, and stay tuned with me. I will be deploying more application, and I will be creating more application. So in the future you will learn a lot from me, so stay tuned with me.